Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So here we are with another bookish questions voiceover for another bookish journal with me. I honestly, I just find these videos so fun. I'm sure I've probably mentioned it before, and I know these videos don't perform the best on my channel, but I just really like talking about books. And not to the point where I'd have to make like a 10-minute book review video, but I feel like just answering questions is just kind of fun. So that's what we're gonna do today. But before that, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about these spreads. So the first one that you see here is for the book Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo, which is the second book in the Grisha trilogy. I just realized the TV show for the Six of Crows and Grisha trilogy series is coming up. Actually, I have no idea when it's coming out, but there's been a lot of talk about it recently, and I'm pretty sure it's coming out on Netflix, so that's pretty exciting. But back to the spreads. You can see in the corner, on the bottom right corner right there, that I have some fan art that I printed out from Google. So yeah, this first spread is based on Siege and Storm, and you'll see the spread for book 3, which is Ruin and Rising, later on in the video. But other than that, is there anything else I wanted to say? Oh, in the Ruin and Rising spreads, that was when I kind of started doing spreads in the journals with very few pages, so like my really small journals, and I didn't want to waste pages by gluing them together. So what I did was I was writing with my Crayola super tips on like white cardstock or white sticker paper, then cutting it out and then sticking it in. So you'll see me doing that later on. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. If you have any questions about my spreads or anything like that, you can definitely just leave it in the comments. And also, wow, I'm getting so distracted today. But also, you'll see pictures of these spreads on my Instagram, which is Letters to Valerie, and always linked down below, so definitely check it out. Now, let's get on to the bookish questions. So last time I left off from these LG Writes questions, which are again linked down below, on the question, who is your favorite gray character in fiction? And by this, I'm pretty sure they mean morally gray. And I think my answer would have to be either Kaz Brecker or Aiden from the Illuminae series. So Kaz Brecker is from the Six of Crows series. Interesting because this is kind of a related series, the spreads right here. And Aiden from Illuminae is also really interesting. If you haven't read the Illuminae books, I definitely recommend. I'll leave a link to my Illuminae spread if I remember in the caption. If I don't, someone yell at me. But I did do a bookish spread based on that series, and I recently finished rereading it. It took me a while because I didn't have a physical copy of Gemina. And if you didn't know, the Illuminae series is written in a really interesting format where there's some kind of like storytelling, but it's storytelling through the point of view of someone else, which I won't mention who because they say it at the end, but throughout most of it you don't know who it is. And then they also have like emails. They have really interesting art in it where you have to kind of like flip the book around to read it. It's just really cool, and I wanted to read it as a physical book and not as a like an what's it called, ebook. I didn't want to read it like that, so I waited and I got the book Gemina, which is book 2, for Christmas, and I recently reread the entire series, and it's just so good. So yeah, Aiden is definitely a very interesting morally gray character. Next question is question number 6. Do you read nonfiction or self-help books? If so, what did you read most recently? I personally do not read anything other than fiction. Like any type of fiction is fine, but nonfiction or self-help, definitely not something I like to read. I just honestly don't really have an interest in that kind of stuff. But if you have a book that you really like that's like nonfiction or self-help, definitely leave it in the comments. Maybe I'll check it out one day. Probably when I'm older though. I feel like I don't know. I just really have no interest in self-help books. Okay, question number 7. Name a hyped book that fell short for you. So this is a question I've answered in many, many other bookish journal with me's before, but I thought I would just bring it up again. The first one that comes to mind is The Cruel Prince. Definitely did not like that. I got an ARC from my uncle when he worked at Indigo, which is a Canadian bookstore, so I was really excited. And then I read it and I was like, people like this? So I never kept reading it. But yeah, that was one book that fell short for me. Another hyped book, Looking for Alaska. Like John Green books were so popular back in the day, and I read it and it was not good. Like in my opinion, I didn't like the story, I didn't like the characters. Nothing about it was really interesting for me. Let me know if you feel the same. I was a really big fan of The Fault in Our Stars, but like that was when I was in 6th grade and when it was really popular, so I was probably just in it for the hype, to be honest. Another book series that fell short, maybe. Okay, I did like what's it called? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. The one by V. Schwab. Okay, I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna be right back. Okay, so I just looked it up and the book was A Darker Shade of Magic. And the last time I read it, I know I enjoyed it enough to read like the second and third book, but I didn't love it as much as I feel like other people on Bookstagram and BookTube liked it. So yeah, my sister owns the book though, so maybe I'll try rereading it sometime since I have so much free time now that we're still in quarantine. Yeah, so there's another one. I've talked about the Raven Cycle before, how I didn't like those books. Oh, one book that I was okay, well, this wasn't really overhyped, that fell short, but if you've read any of Morgan Matsen's books, I really liked all her books up until Since You've Been Gone, which I think was her newest, and then she released Save the Date, and I was so excited because I got to go to her book signing for that one. But to be honest, like Save the Date really fell short for me. There is barely any romance, and if there's no romance, honestly, I'm not that into a book. I'm just gonna admit it right now. Like, I really need romance for a book to be interesting for me, and I was just kind of disappointed. It wasn't the best book. Like, it was cute and all, but just not my favorite. But it was still really nice to meet her at the book signing, and she signed all my other books, which was amazing. So yeah, that was probably another book. Also, sorry if it gets kind of quiet because I'm like turning to look back at my bookshelf to see if there's any books I can talk about. But yeah, okay, let's get on to the next question, which is seven. Oh, eight. Which of the usual romance tropes works the best for you? Probably enemies to lovers. Everyone loves a good enemies to lovers book. I don't know anyone who doesn't like the enemies to lovers trope. I can think of so many. So we have like Aelin and Rowan. We have, oh, actually, I hope that wasn't a spoiler for anyone, but the book has been out for years, so I'm sorry. We have Feyre and Rhysand. We have Juliet and Warner. We have Nick and Hannah from Gemina. Like every single book, well, not every single book, but so many books have enemies to lovers, and I love it every single time. Like I can't really think of an enemies to lovers book that I didn't like. So there's that. Okay, let's get on to the next question. What trope in young adult books do you hate? Um, for this, maybe I just hate like the perfect characters, like how they kind of idolize some characters and make them. I don't really know how to explain it. I just don't really like it when characters are seen as like perfect, like they're. Or actually, no. You know, what I really do hate when people do when no when authors write about that trend where they have a really pretty main character, but like she doesn't know she's beautiful. I hate that. I hate that. Like, mm, I no, don't want to talk about it, but I really hate. It's not really a trope, I guess, but it is kind of like a trend in YA books. Next question. What are you currently reading these days? I've been reading so much romance. I recently got into Kristen Callahan. I think that's her name. And so she released I don't know if it's called the Idol series or the Rockstar series. I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna look at it right now in my book library. Okay, so it doesn't say here. But I recently got into her book. So I read The Hookup, which is a book in her like are they football players? In like her football player romance series in like college. And then I read her book Idol, and then the second book Managed, and the third book Fall. Okay. The third book is, yeah, called Fall, and I really enjoyed those. I've just been so into romance recently, like I can't stop. It's so addictive. It's literally like crack. Like I just can't stop reading them. So yeah, I recently got into Kristen Callahan books. But like I also said, I just finished reading the third book in the Illuminate series for my reread, which is Obsidio. So I guess that's what I've been reading these days. Next, I'm thinking of either rereading, like I just said, A Darker Shade of Magic, or maybe A Court of Thorns and Roses, or possibly The Infernal Devices. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, next question. Which book disappointed you recently? Oh, I recently read For a Muse of Fire. I got an arc a long time ago, again from when my uncle was working at Indigo, and I was reading it and I was just so bored the entire time. I'm sure I'll talk about it when I get to that journaling spread, but by then it'll be like it's a while from here, so you'll probably get a refresher. But like I recently read it and I know it was kind of hyped up when it was coming out on Bookstagram, but like I didn't like anything about it. I was so bored and I just wanted to I just wanted to finish the book. I was so over it. And like you guys probably know, I don't like to DNF book, which means like do not finish. So I always will finish a book through all the way to the end, even if I hate it. So yeah, that was a book that disappointed me recently. I'll probably do one more question. 12. What are your pet peeves when it comes to romance writing? Honestly, I don't really know. I haven't really had any issues with romance writing. Preferably, I would like there to be more like plot than smut, because sometimes when it's just smut, like that's like there's no it's boring. um, so usually I like a good balance of smut and what's it called? Plot. And sometimes like romance authors just write smut, which is like up to them. Like they can do whatever they want, but that's just personally not what I like to read in romance. Um, yeah. What else can I think of for any like pet peeves? Okay, no, that's all. Okay, so I have like 30 seconds left. I feel like I can answer one more question. Let's do name one author who is on your auto buy list. For this, I would say I would say Cassandra Clare, because sometimes with Sarah J. Maas, I'm like, because her recent writing has not been my favorite. But Cassandra Clare, definitely, I buy like all of her Shadowhunter books right away. I don't even care if I will like it or not. I just buy them all. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys today for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or anything like that, leave a comment in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.